Well, I'm really proud of our kids today. You know, we talked last night. I thought yesterday we were really anxious, really excited. Had some people that had a hard time, players that haven't been on the bigger stage, and it's been a little harder for them the last couple of weeks here for them because they don't have that experience of, you know, staying connected to the process rather than worried about winning and losing and what everybody else expects from them. And as you get more attention, it gets harder for people until they learn how to deal with it. And we talked about it after yesterday. I thought we did a much better job today of staying present and connected to the process and playing the game. And I was proud of the kids that it's all about. This is all about learning and growth. I thought I saw some growth today in some of our players, and it was good to see. I said at the start of the first press conference, this league is very, very competitive. As you saw out there again today, it's one pitch, it's one play, it's one at bat, one call, and that's what you had out there. Two teams that really went after each other and pitched extremely well. And unfortunately, Dalton made a mistake there, and the bunt play just hurried it a little bit. He's an excellent defensive pitcher. Kind of shocked me actually when it happened. Would have never expected it out of him. You know, he deserved better than that for the way he pitched out there tonight. And we scratched and battled, and even in the last inning, Pedersen balls get down the line. You got a different inning going on there, and so I said that's what it is. It's one pitch, it's one play, one at bat, and we lost. We had 3 one-run games with Ohio State last weekend, with one in extra innings, and another one-run game today. So. If nothing else, we're getting experience playing in one-run games, and kids it's going to be valuable to them, whether it's the remaining part of this year or down the road for the players that will be returning. So I'm really proud of the guys, and it's been a very emotional last couple of weeks with our pitching coach being moved into hospice, Todd Oaks, and I'm very proud of our kids, how strong they have been, both in terms of their support for Todd and his family and his wife, Terry, and the way they've paid tribute to him. And he's a servant leader, person of strong faith, family, friends. His relationships are really important to him, and he's a person that has always given back and tried to help others more than he ever cared about himself. And he's made our program better. He's made me a better person, better coach, better husband, better father. He'll be missed. Yes, I think what today is, it's perspective. I think you have to understand this is a good perspective day for us. And we started out last fall with a perspective board and perspective stories, and Todd is on that board, and obviously he shared a story with the team last fall, and so it's fitting here today that this is another day of perspective, and I think you can put it very easily into perspective. This is a game. We love playing the game. We try to play it as well as we can. But at the end of the day, regardless of what happens, we're all going to be okay. We're all going to be okay. We're all going to leave here today, and we don't let the game, win or lose, define us as people. I'm not going to let this define our kids. We have wonderful young men, and the game doesn't define us. What we do in the other parts of our life and how we serve others and the leadership we can provide and mentoring others and just being a good overall person. And we have a team of those particular young men. So this doesn't define us. It will never define this team. I'm very proud of this team. They've been servant leaders and done a lot, not only helping one another in our program, but they've done a lot in the community and reached out. And so this is a day of perspective, and probably need some perspective right now after losing another tough ball game.
Well, I think, like you said, there's a lot of things that are going on. Obviously, like you said, with school, This time of the year is crazy. Finally, just letting up now. But everybody handles it a little bit differently, and that's sort of the challenge with the matter. Is some people need their space. Some people need to let it out. You know, some guys need to talk. Other guys don't want to talk about it at all. So, from a team perspective, it's really tough to cast a wide net on how to manage the situation as a whole. And it's a really obviously sensitive subject, and everybody on the team has learned a lot, gained a lot of insight, and been really close to TO. I mean, so it's tough. I mean, it's really tough for a lot of guys. We've got quite a few guys on the team who he's been their father since they've been here. And that's really tough, too. But, yeah, I mean, I think that along with the fact that we're playing at the Big Ten tournament, we've had a pretty good season going so far to this point. There's expectations out there on a lot of different fronts. It's definitely another tough thing to manage as well.
As somebody who's made the decision to go to Minnesota, and trust Coach Anderson and the staff, with your development, mentally, professionally, physically, athletically, can you speak to Coach Oaks and just any stories or just anecdotes that it was the right call for you, just knowing how they care about you as a person and beyond the sport of baseball?
Yeah, I think it's funny because I've always thought me and T.O. have had, a little unique relationship. We've always been pretty close. And then the more I talk to everybody else who's ever played for him, they feel the same way. And that's just T.O. There was never one sit down. He never called me into his office and gave me some gigantic perspective on life. He never wrote me a card that made me cry. It was his everyday presence, the way that he treated others, the way that he made you feel comfortable. I came into the program 5 years ago. I thought I was going to be a pro pitcher. I wanted to learn how to throw the nastiest slider in the world. I wanted to throw 95. I wanted to do nothing but get guys out. And I sit here today and I couldn't care less about that stuff. He's taught me way, way, way more important stuff. So I think I'm one of many who are in that boat.
Any more questions?
I think there's a quote, and I can't remember who it's attributed to, but I think this really speaks well to Todd and the impact he's had. It's not what you say. It's not what you do. It's how you make other people feel. And he always left his presence feeling better. And he was always wanted to make sure that you felt better than he did. If you were having a tough day or you wanted some support or you wanted some wisdom. And that's the way he treated the kids. And that's why he's been with us 18 years, and that's why I liked him. He's a tremendous pitching coach, but I thought he was a wonderful fit for our program because of his values, the person he is, and the servant leader that he was. And if you talk to these kids, they won't tell you about, taught them how to throw a better breaking ball or how to command the fastball. They'll talk about the life lessons they taught them and how they all felt valued, regardless if they're the first pitcher or the 15th pitcher. They all felt like they were valued by him. He coached everyone the same, treated every one of those players the same, regardless where they stood in the pecking order. And that was always a big part of his philosophy. He wanted to work with them all. And but I think that's really what I think stands out to me, that he always, whenever you left his presence, whenever I watched him work with our players, they always felt better after they were in his presence, and I know I did as well. And he's got a wonderful wife, Terry, and 3 boys, and they're going to need our strength as they go forward, and we'll support them in any way we can.
Being from Columbus and close to Zach Farmer, I know that talk to Farmer, it's no way five small. Can you just put in words just the support that you've seen from college baseball?
Well, I'll tell you honestly, Todd called him up when he was going through his battle because they had the same disease. Todd has a card taped in his office of Zach Farmer. It's still on the wall. He took the time out of his life to call the young man and encourage him, never give up, never give in. Nobody fights alone. And Todd encouraged him in his fight as well. And there's a card sitting in Todd's office taped up on the wall of Zach. And that just tells you that Todd really cared more about others than himself and took the time to reach out to others and help them when they were struggling. And it was never about him. Whenever I saw him, it was always about, I'm okay, Even when this hospice thing started, he said, I'm just a big distraction. Don't worry about me. Take care of the players and the kids. How are they doing? It was always about others. It was never about him. And he wrote a small book on his Caring Bridge post, and the title of the book was Why Not Me? In his fight against leukemia. And he used his fight to touch others, to raise awareness, to raise some money. There's a grant that'll be named in his name that they've raised enough money. So he used it to teach life lessons and teach people how to lead their lives. And it wasn't, when many times we're faced with adversity, we say, why me? Todd always said, well, why not me? And 25% of the people that have what he have supposedly live beyond 5 years. And he always said, well, somebody's got to be in the 25%. And part of the reason he wanted to do so much for the research side of it, he said, if one person can hear the word remission someday, he said, it'll all be worth it. And that's really what drove him. And he wants one person someday to hear that word and live longer than 5 years. And that's the way he led his life. He didn't feel sorry for him. There was no pity parties. It was all about what can I do now to teach other people how to lead their lives and how can I make a difference for somebody else. And you talk about our players getting some life lessons here and some perspective. They went out last fall in the parking lots at a football game, the Nebraska football game, on their own. They put it all together, the entire team. They went out and raised money in the parking lot, $7,000 for leukemia. That's how important he was to them. That was totally unsolicited. That was something they got together and wanted to do for him. And I don't know many young people that, and I think because of the perspective they got from Todd and the other coaches in our program, we try to teach them to serve others, try to make a difference in the world, help other people, and that's what they did, his behalf. And that told me something about our group. He's in a better place, and we're going to take his inspiration and go forward and use it in our life so we can be better people.